how do you respond to these concerns that Facebook just needs to be broken up? It's too big.
Well, I know that people have real concerns about the size and power of the tech companies, including Facebook. And I think those are the right questions. And the question is, what's the right answer? And I think the right answer is to set up the right rules for the internet, because you could break us up, you could break other tech companies up, but you actually don't address the underlying issues people are concerned about. They're concerned about election security. They're concerned about content. They're concerned about privacy and data portability. And so we know at Facebook that we have a real responsibility to do better and to earn back people's trust. And we're doing two things. We're fundamentally changing how we run the company. We are making massive investments in these areas. And if you look at what we've done before to what we're doing now, we have large teams of people in the company whose only job is to safeguard elections, protect content, protect privacy. But we also know that we can't do it alone, so we're calling for regulation. Just last week, Mark was in France with President Macron. I was in D.C. meeting with people on both sides of the aisle. We know that we have a real responsibility to get this right, and we're going to work hard. We're going to work hard to get the right rules set for our industry, but also to do the work we need to do, no matter how big the investment, no matter how long it takes.
But even if there is regulation around privacy or the spread of hateful content or violent content, there's still a significant concern that that's not going to be enough, that either there needs to be a new regulator established or the company needs to be broken up. Are you girding for an antitrust battle? You have hired a couple of former Microsoft executives.
Well, obviously, any concerns we have are ones we need to answer. But let me share with you something else I heard in my meetings in D.C., and I heard this in private meetings from both sides of the aisle, that while people are concerned with the size and power of tech companies, there's also a concern in the United States about the size and power of Chinese tech companies. And the realization that those companies are not going to be broken up. And so the question is for us is, how do we make sure we protect privacy? How do we make sure we work with authorities to safeguard elections? How do we make sure that the right content is on Facebook? And how do we make sure that the right regulatory framework is in place? And we're working hard on all of that.
Now, you are making a lot of changes now, but Chris Hughes said that Mark's obsession with growth led him to sacrifice security for clicks. When people at the company began to notice issues, whether it was around privacy or the spread of manipulative fake news, what do you think stopped people from immediately taking action?
I think we have been taking action. I think it is fair to say that as we grew Facebook, we were focused on growth. We were also focused on privacy and security, but I think it wasn't the most important thing we were doing, and we should have been doing it at a higher level. And if I look even at my job now, my job has really changed. I used to spend more of my time working on growth, and now I'm spending more of my time safeguarding the company. And I think now this is front and center. And it wasn't front and center, and it's front and center now because there were things that happened that we didn't expect. We didn't expect the kind of interference we found in the election. We didn't expect bad actors, and now we know better. We've learned from what we missed before. We know we need to work hard to prevent the problems that are happening now, and we need to work hard to make sure that the problems we haven't even thought of don't happen.
There's a lot of conversation about, especially in Washington, D.C. right now, about what kind of cultural change needs to happen in the company to make sure people do speak up when they immediately see something and not wait until it becomes a massive issue. The FTC, in addition to levying a fine of up to $5 billion, is considering all sorts of structural changes, implementing oversight for as much as 20 years at Facebook. How could that change the company and actually impact your business, potentially impact your growth?
Well, we're going to do the right thing, and the right thing is safeguarding people's privacy. We have massive teams working on this. It used to be that we had one team working on this, and now, as it's become more integral to what we do, every single engineering team and product team has a safety and security team as part of it. And so whatever the regulatory framework we end up with, what matters to us is that we take all the steps we can to protect privacy, and that's what we're doing.
But to have a team of people from the FTC inside the company, I mean, that would be unprecedented. Would that hurt your ability to make changes and grow your revenue?
Well, I can't comment on anything we might be talking about with the FTC, but what I can say is that we're going to do the right thing. And that means we're going to have the right kind of oversight. I think we do have a very strong board. I think we are accountable to people all over the world. And we are taking the steps to protect privacy, to go through our systems find the vulnerabilities, be open about those publicly. We also know that the challenges we face are unprecedented. With so many people on our services, whether you have them in one company or many, there's still a lot of people. And we're going to have to go through and make sure that we're protecting people.
One of your privacy changes is implementing a clear history tool, which you recently warned advertisers was going to impact the way they can target and reach consumers. Are investors vastly underestimating how much this kind of tool, eliminating targeting for people who opt out of it, could really impact your bottom line?
So our bottom line is getting this right, and we are making real changes that have impact. Our growth rate is lower. We are spending huge amounts of money, billions of dollars, and we are taking on, real things that do change that. But we believe deeply that doing the right thing for people on our service is the only way to protect our long-term business, and it's the right thing to do. So the bottom line for us is making sure we get this right.